and welcome to my buying guide, my personal modification guide, and everything in this video is my personal views about how to buy the best second-hand YXZ. But they're my personal views, so don't take them as gospel. Take it as my opinion, nothing else. Just enjoy the videos. Thank you very much for watching them. So you've bought your second-hand YXZ, you've gone right through it, you've done it a good service, you've changed all the fluids, you've checked it all out. You are now ready to go and give it a good blast. Go and learn it, go and play in it, go and have some fun in it. But somewhere down the line, you're going to want to start modifying things. You're going to find things out about it. I'll just run you through some of the modifications I've done to mine and why I've done them. First one I did, I grabbed the camera, it's easier. Okay. First modification I did to mine, full windscreen. I'm a cheapskate. I wasn't willing to spend hundreds of pounds on a windscreen. So I bought myself a sheet of 4mm Lexan and I made a template, and I made a full windscreen for my YXZ. I made it in such a way that it was slightly bigger, slightly wider than the roll cage tubes. And there's a reason for me doing that. I wanted some airflow through the cabin. I've got a bow in my windscreen and I've got a gap up the top here, and it lets some air in through the cab and it takes all the dust out. Air can also get up through here. I haven't sealed it off. I want a bit of airflow through it. So that was my very first modification. Full windscreen. The next thing I discovered, riding it around through mud, these front tyres throw all the mud onto the windscreen. If you haven't got one, onto your lap, and they nail you in mud. So I made some Fender Extenders out of corrugated plastic board. They're not the prettiest, and they're not moulded plastic like you can buy. They're about £100 a set. Again, I'm a cheapskate, so I used what materials I'd got. I had to cut the video there. You think you've hidden yourself somewhere really quiet to make a video, and somebody comes walking up the track, walking the dog, so it's like that. Stop the video, have a chat, and get on with what I'm doing. So like I was saying, Fender Extenders, because them tyres throw a lot of mud onto the windscreen, onto your lap. So say you can buy them, they're about 100 quid a set, but I'm a cheapskate and I didn't want to go drilling holes in the panels in my YXZ, so they mount up under here and I pick up on this bolt which keeps it up, and then I've just zip tied it on to the panel, and they work really, really well. They're brilliant. Next thing I changed, which put me down the route of changing something else as well, but I wanted a bit more protection on the front. I looked at lots and lots and lots of different front bumpers, and I opted for the Yamaha trail bumper with a winch mount. It's a bit of a nightmare to fit, because you've got to take the front anti-roll bar off to do it, to get to two of the bolts on the back that fasten it on. But I've got to admit, being as it's a Yamaha trail bumper with a winch mount, everything lined up and everything did fit perfectly. And I stuck myself a £3,500 Rhino winch with synthetic rope onto the bumper, so I'm happy with that modification. That's a definite must if you're trail riding, you need a winch. I think that's all the modifications done to the front. Windscreen, Fender Extenders, winch and bumper. Yeah, that's everything. Then another issue you have with YXZs is the rear trailing arms get absolutely nailed with stones, and it's stones off the front tyres that come flying underneath, and they pepper the living daylights out of your wishbone and take all the powder coating off. So I made myself some flaps, and I picked up on two of the original Yamaha mounting bolts here and here to bolt them on. Creased them here so they bend like that when you're driving, and they stop all of the stones from hitting the wishbones. The trailing arms, sorry. They're not the prettiest. Again, cheapskate. More of the corrugated plastic cardboard, but they work perfectly well, and they're infinitely replaceable, and they cost you a bit of time and that's it. And round the back you take the spark arrestor out of the exhaust and just put the cap back on. Makes them sound so much nicer. I can get away with that in the United Kingdom. I'm not sure how it stands in the States. I think you need a spark arrestor in yours, but I don't here. The other thing I bought was a Yamaha Box, but this one's a 2019 box that I've mounted to the back of my 2016. And I went 19 box because if I ever decide to put a rad in the rear, the box has already got the angle on the back of it. I don't carry a lot in the box, mainly for the cameras, bits and pieces, and I'll explain what all them wires are in a little bit. And then for a little bit of added safety, I mounted myself a powder fire extinguisher onto the roll cage in the rear, that's a just in case. I think most of that is for me and my mates who run around in Polarises and they've got a habit of setting themselves on fire, so that's probably where that one will get used. So, as I said earlier, when I put the winch on, that sent me down the road of doing another modification, and it was an electrical modification. I fitted an Odyssey PC925 battery into the original battery location for the extra capacity, which is what all the extra wires are. They're the wires that come from the winch. With having the winch and needing the extra capacity when I use the winch, I dual batteried the YXZ, which is what these wires are. A positive comes off the battery on the inside, runs through the frame, runs up through the bed, up into the back of the box. And there's another Odyssey PC925 in the back. And how it's wired is positive to positive. I haven't run the negative back down to the other battery. I've run the negative out and to an earth on the frame. The little wires you see here run down to the other battery, because I run a battery tender on it, and there's no point trying to stick 0.8 of an amp down these big cables. It goes down the little ones. Whether I'm right in doing that, I don't know, but that's how I chose to wire it up for the plug-in charger. As you see, all that's in the back here: camera stuff, waterproof seat cover, spare cable, some spare clothes, gloves when I'm working on it, some other gloves if it gets really cold, more cameras. It's just handy to have somewhere secure to keep stuff. So other than them modifications, this YXZ is as it came out the factory. Like I say, no mods to the engine, no mods to the suspension. Everything I've done is for practicality and safety. But again, that all comes down to what are you using your YXZ for? What are you using your side-by-side for? I'm not a racer. A green lane, a trail ride. The setup I've got here is adequate. Don't rock crawl, so I'm happy with the manual transmission. Happy not to do gear reduction, because it just works for me. So I'm totally happy with what I've done to this YXZ, and everything I've done is reversible, so it could go back to an absolutely stock format if I ever sell it. I hope these videos are a little bit helpful for anybody looking to buy second hand. What to look for, what to do when you buy one. And I hope you glean some information out of them. And thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel.